Is Soldier Field getting an upgrade? Welcome back to another episode of the HeyUSA podcast. My name is Nick Garcia, senior reporter at PlayUSA, and with me now, drumroll, Brant. Should you say your new title? What are we going to do here?
Yes, I've segued over. Definitely not leaving the pod, but I've now changed titles to lead writer, Katina Media Sharp Sites. Just means I'll be writing a little bit more about sports, fun stuff, about Chicago sports teams messing up their football stadiums, things of the like.
We should just jump into the big news for Chicago. Lori Lightfoot has done a little turnaround. And it appears that she's kind of nervous that the Bears might, after all, be leaving Chicago for neighboring Arlington Heights, and has proposed upgrades to Soldier Field that would bring a dome to the historic stadium. Now, a few hot takes real quick before I get your analysis and thoughts on this, Brant, being the diehard Bears fan that you are, JK.
That's all I talk about.
It's stupid. I think it's dumb. I love outdoor stadiums. Yes, you can't ever play a Super Bowl in Chicago, but much like Tom Brady, he was probably more focused on winning them than where he's going to play them at. With that being said, of course, a fancy new stadium will entice any team to want to stay, and it'll be good for other sports and, concerts and blah, 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 whatever you want to do. But I feel like Chicago is one of those unique stadium sites where you can get the cold weather games. It provides a competitive advantage sometimes, maybe not in recent years, but it's really cool to have. They're far and few now. There's three, maybe, I think, are outdoor stadiums left in the Seattle.
Without the closable roof, they're a dying breed for sure.
Dying breed. I think they should keep it the same, maybe just upgrades infrastructure around the stadium, which is basically what the Bears wanted to do. They wanted to put in a sports book. They wanted to build out a few things, and the city at the time was like, nope, don't have the time to focus on that stuff. We need money to go elsewhere. So Chicago was like, cool, well, we'll just head down the road a ways. And then now it seems like Lightfoot's about face. And yeah, there's potential for a now new domed Soldier Field with potential new names, like naming rights are being thrown in, which all the money is. So we'll see how it goes. What are your thoughts, Brant?
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of thoughts, and then you said nope, and I was instantly transported to that terrible movie I saw on Friday. But moving on. No, it's an awful idea. Now, it's weird because I grew up. Soldier Field, the CBS game coming on. You had the big columns dedicated to the men and women of the armed forces. Ice mist blowing off of the lake. Fog in 1988 covering up the Eagles-Bears games. Green painted asphalt basically for grass, and somehow Walter Payton dancing around on that. I mean, that said, you would know this date specifically because you lived there. But a few years ago, they attempted to turn Soldier Field into something other than this sort of half Parthenon monolith and sort of put a UFO on the side of it. So it's something that's been messed with already, but putting a dome on, I mean, you might as well go full, we're from Mars or something.
Yeah.
You might as well really just glam it up and just like pull it over from the museum or something. Just make it outrageous. It's a terrible idea. I mean, and really, what are you going to be at your essence? You'll never be able to say anything to the Packers. You're going to be as soft as Lions fans and Vikings fans. No more of this frozen tundra crap. Yep. You are soft like everyone else if you get a roof on Soldier Field.
So according to this, there was an article released by Crane's Chicago Business that said it would expand the seating to right around 70,000 seats. There would be an upgrade of 200,000 square feet of food and beverage space, which is a upgrade from the 50,000 that they have now.
That's a lot of sausage.
But the price tag is estimated $900 million to $2.2 billion to fund this project.
Build a whole new place somewhere else.
Exactly. The other thing is the Bears lease ends, I think, in 2033. Unless they wanted to pay an exit fee and leave a little bit early. So there is no incentive except if Chicago or the city was going to say, we'll start building it next year. The Bears have nothing to gain or nothing to lose from, Chicago sitting on their butts and dragging this thing out. They already got a place picked out. They already have the resources that they need to begin on this giant stadium that they want to build. And again, like you said, it's not like they're going to be tearing down Soldier Field and building it from they're just like putting a bunch of Legos and, making it more even chaotic than what it already looks like. I think if you just little tweaks here and there, make it a little bit better, keep it outdoors. That's part of the charm. I'm pretty sure if the Seahawks were like, we're going to build a dome stadium, fans would probably riot and be like,
I can
hell
attest.
you are.
I can attest how fun it is from my experience in January, standing out in that misting 38 degrees. You made a good point. You will undoubtedly get a Super Bowl fairly quickly. So that's big. That's a big money generator, not the $9 gajillion or whatever that was going to cost. The only way you could do this that I would accept, like I said, you put that dome, and I have another addendum. I'd like you to get a replica of Sue from the Field Museum right on top with a beacon that goes around her head that shines out onto the lake. Those are my conditions.
And knowing Chicago, they'll do something really ridiculous like that. Like, so what is it? Tampa Bay has that like pirate ship that kind of comes out, which is kind of cool.
People love that. That's like a singles bar. That's where you go to hook up. It is all 20 and the 30 somethings that are kind of running out of options. They just sit there and slog down huge high lies.
I feel like Chicago would try to do something ridiculous like that.
Well, in Chicago, don't the horny people in Chicago go to the bleachers at Cubs games? Do they still do that?
Basically, I would assume. White Sox fan here, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Good cover in case anyone we know is watching.
So there you have it for Bears faithful. There's potential. There's like 3 different designs floating out there. Who knows what's going to happen from it? It's not like that's pressing issue number 1 in the city. So
you know what,
probably
though,
just a thing to get
you make a good point. That's only one of the 2 terrible things that happened to the Bears this week. I saw those weirdo orange helmets that looked like you stuck it looks like you stuck the Reds logo on a Browns helmet. Ouch.
Or I don't know why the white would have been way better, but yet we're going to be stuck with these orange helmets for at least one game this season that they'll probably continue to trot out every other year. So 2 thumbs down for me. Speaking of NFL, though, training camps did open today, which is another big thing.
Life begins
officially again. The kickoff of the NFL season has begun. Give me, Brant, one. We in past episodes we've talked about like hot takes and things like that, and QB chaos. There wasn't really that much this season, but give me one hot take, one out of the box thing that you think is going to happen this NFL season.
One out of the box thing that I think will happen. I believe that the Cardinals situation, despite all the money that Arizona threw at Kyler, I think that situation is still going to fester because I can't figure out whether Kyler's pissed and his agent leaked the fact that the team stuck an addendum in his contract saying that he's got to pay attention in class and put in 4 extra hours of film study, and he can't watch TV or play video games while he's doing it. Go read up on this. Or if the team paid him and then they were still so concerned about his work habits. Oklahoma quarterbacks continue to have a terrible year. They were so concerned about his work habits that the team leaked that. Someone's pissed, and that's going to fester. I don't think money is making all of this get better. So I am just fascinated to watch those Cardinals just sort of wither and peel out there in the desert.
It's going to be nuts. For those of you who don't know, earlier this week, the Cardinals gave Kyler Murray. Well, he's going into his 3rd year, I believe, right? Or
he wanted to get paid before that first one is up. Yeah, so he made a bunch.
$230 million, I believe, right?
I believe that is the case. We'll fact check that, but he made a bunch.
Yeah,
a bunch of money.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah, maybe that's a good one. That's maybe he's traded soon or something happens. I don't know. I would say, hopping on Oklahoma quarterback news, I would say that my hot take is Baker Mayfield will lead the Panthers to a winning season.
Come on.
That's mine.
Come on.
That's mine. Which means he only has to. He doesn't mean he has to make the playoffs. Doesn't mean anything. They just have to have a winning 8-8 or however many games they play. That's it. Winning
There's
season.
17 games, my man. You got to give me one more win.
9.
Yeah, you
9 and 8
rethinking that
then?
now?
Yeah. So,
Brady twice.
Shit, I forgot what division. Well, Brady twice.
Saints twice.
He could beat the Saints. And then
Falcons,
who's the other team in that division? Oh yeah. Or okay, wait. Let me redo that.
Here we go.
They'll finish. No. He will have a winning season against division opponents.
All right, that's a pretty good hedge. We shall accept it. We shall accept it. You know,
Okay,
they play the Browns. He plays the Browns game 1.
Game 1. That's going to be exciting.
There's going to be a lot of good game 1 revenge matches because that's Seahawks versus Russell Wilson too.
Yeah. Who do you have? Of course, Brant is a giant Seahawks fan. What's your? I mean, it is early. We're still training camp. Injuries can happen. But if today if you were put on the spot, which I am going to put you on the spot, who's playing in the Super Bowl 2023?
The Super Bowl? Wow. Let's project this out. I am going counter the tide that the Bengals are going to have a Super Bowl hangover. I'm going to put a lot of stock in Joe Burrow, and I'm going to go Bengals. I think they're going to go back. And in the NFC, I feel like the Packers.
Aaron Rodgers is going to get as many Super Bowl, one more Super Bowl than his buddy Matt Stafford.
I believe he's going to get there. Then I think Burrow is going to ram it right down his throat. He's going to inoculate him against the Lombardi Trophy.
I'm going to say the Bills finally get there and they play the Packers. Is a good pick, but I think it's going to be Bills, Bucks, Tom Brady.
I can't deal with that again. I can't.
How many years do we got to tell him that he's going to be in the Super Bowl? Bills finally win it. Bills, Bucks, Super Bowl. Bills get over the hump. They claim a Lombardi Trophy this year.
I'm already blocking off those weekends for the AFC playoffs because they are going to be epic with the Bills, with the Bengals, with Kansas City, with whoever else jumps in. Who knows if the Chargers get better? My goodness, so good.
Moving on. What do you got on your list that you're watching right now?
Really interested in the trade deadline. I just love the wheeling and dealing that goes on. See who adds a bat. See who's gonna see if what players the Yankees add that they don't really need because they're basically winning every. Actually, the Orioles took a game off of them the other day. Seeing who they're gonna add. I figure the Mets are gonna maybe add a bat. Is Soto finally gonna get his opportunity to get traded? Will there be enough for the Nationals to let him fly? So that's what I'm doing as we head into I try not to pay too much attention to the beginning of football because it's just hamstring injuries.
Yeah.
This guy is missed a practice because he's dehydrated.
This guy didn't show up to training
the beat
camp.
writers get back together instead of making stuff up, and they don't do that. Instead of chit-chatting, virtually, they do it in person with funny hats on and getting sunburned. So I try not to pay too much attention to the NFL preseason.
Who do you think, or who would you want Soto to get? You don't have to give me a trade package, just the team that you would want him to go to.
Not the Yankees.
Which means that's going to be the logical one that it's going to happen.
Let me just boil it down. Not the American League East. Not the Dodgers. I mean, you always have to assume it's going to be the LA market, the New York market. Let's stick them out in Texas. But you keep hearing chatter about how they're trying to build now. That's why they incredibly drafted Kumar Rocker number 3 in the draft because he's supposedly ready now if he's healthy. Let's send him to Texas. Let's do it right out in the middle.
I would love it. Let's do it. Let's throw him down there. I also don't want him to go to the Yankees or anything like that. I have an eye for the Padres. I think he's gonna go there, but they spend a lot of money as is. They haven't even more to give to him, so we'll see.
Super disappointing team, those Padres.
On the gaming front, though, segueing into some gaming stuff. Not much on my end right now. There are a bunch of earnings calls popping up. We got some Combi stuff, some Boyd Gaming, FanDuel, Churchill Downs. So I will keep you guys posted on that when a few stories come. There will be one later on this week. After it's written, we'll drop it in the link of this or down in the description. But it's earnings season, so that Q2 stuff, Brant. So those eyes are going to gloss over, numbers are going to hit the fan.
I love Q2 so much more than Q1, but not as much as Q3.
I'm a Q4 guy, so that means the end is near. What else do we got to chat about?
Yeah, I wrote a story that I found interesting, and I hope you will too, because I put some time into it, folks. We'll link that down below. It's about a company called WagerWire. It's a story of three fraternity brothers from UCLA who one day, they're still roommates. They've been roommates for like 10 years. One day they were sitting on the couch watching football, as guys do, and girls. And one of the gentlemen had a bet that a line that he liked very much on the Packers, and his friend wanted to bet too, but couldn't get that line, and because it had moved during the game, and they had this eureka moment, this light bulb experience where they said, "I wish I could buy your bet." So you have one of them is sort of the tech guy, one of them is sort of the marketing guy, one of them is sort of the business entrepreneur guy. Lucky they happen to be buds and all going to UCLA at the same time. They created WagerWire. So to simplify it, it's a marketplace where if I make a bet and I want to sell it to Nick, Nick can make an offer. If I think it's good enough, I can sell all of it. I can sell a piece of it. They hope that sportsbooks will like it because that coding will be built into your DraftKings, Bally's, FanDuel, whatever app, like the geolocation software. So you have to be a member of that sportsbook to go buy that bet there. So they're hoping that the sportsbook companies will lease that from them. So that hand is scratching that hand and that hand is there. So they think they've got something for the bettor and they think they've got something for the companies. They haven't launched this yet, but that's their grand plan. And I wrote about that. It's a fairly interesting, it's a very interesting idea where there's a marketplace of bets. So the example that they use a lot, one of the guys in it from WagerWire is a Bengals fan. So their hypothetical was, what if he grabbed the Bengals last year, 250 to 1 to win the Super Bowl? Let's say Burrow got hurt, or let's just say he got to the end of the season and got cold feet, and people were making him pretty good offers for this bet in case it cashes, and he gets afraid. He could sell it, and he's going to lose all that money if that cashes, but he could get his money back, or he could sell part of it. He could keep some of the bet. So it's turning sports bets into assets like your worthless crypto or your semi-worthless NFTs, comic books, sneakers, trading cards, whatever. It's turning a sports bet into a commodity, into an asset. So
this is the capitalization on that, where someone puts their bet slip out on like Twitter, and the winning is for $1 million, but someone's like, I'll give you 10 grand for it right now. And then I get that ticket, and now I have the chance to win $1 million. So
absolutely.
And of course this would be a market where the bets are closed. You cannot, or you can't make that same wager. It's closed. So then you're making this.
Yeah, that one's done. It seems like it's going to be a marketplace a lot for futures.
Futures. That makes sense.
Yeah. So
if you build a really cool parlay, and that might hit soon. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, you put it out there for opening, for open bidding. But, as they said, they hope that sports books will like this and lease their coding, because they think it's for the B2B side, business to business side, customer acquisition. You don't have to go throw people a lot of bonuses. And it retains them, because if I buy Nick's bet on BetMGM, I've got to be a BetMGM customer to do that. And if that bet wins, it refreshes in my BetMGM wallet. So I've still got money there. Maybe I can cash out if I want, but maybe I just keep it there and play. So they think it's something for everybody. And it's interesting. These guys, longtime friends, there's a lot of bro energy going here. They really seem into the process of ragging the ass of someone that you sort of underbuy a bet, and then he suddenly realizes he made a horrible mistake. So maybe this solves the social aspect of sports betting that the books have tried very hard to solve by people getting people online and sort of ragging on each other too.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting because the social aspect's pretty fun. Like I said on Twitter, when you see some average Joe guy posts like a parlay that he has, and someone like say, this is just an example, this has never happened, but like if a LeBron James or a famous actor is like, hey, that looks cool, I want to buy that ticket from you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cool to be like, holy shit, LeBron James wants to buy my parlay ticket.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's
That's
cool.
one of
That's
the
nice.
aspects
Yeah.
of this too, because of the transparency of it. The account name of your account name on that sports book is listed when
Pops
you
up.
buy, as is the name of the person who's selling. So it can't be like, I play NBA 247095. It would
Yeah.
say, well,
Kyler Murray.
LeBron James is a terrible example. LeBron James is not betting on a game.
No.
But it has to have their real name. It might say Calvin Ridley. I'm sorry.
LeBron James could bet on NFL games.
Yes.
He can't bet on
Yes.
NBA games.
Or like the dream scenario would be like if Portnoy was trying to buy your bet or trying to sell your bet, or Drake or something of the like. You're going to fade Drake.
Cool.
You're going to rag on Portnoy. There's a lot there if you're into that.
Well, as Brant said, we'll leak that in the description below. I think, Brant, we're like running towards the end. I think the only last question I wanted to ask you, it is the second half of, we talked a little bit of baseball before. It is the second half, your selection for World Series pick right now. Then we'll check back in October and see if we got it right. Who's going to the World Series?
I think it's going to be the Yankees. Of course, it's going to be the Yankees. I just don't see their run differential. They're plus 200 as we record this. 200, man. 200. And I'm going to defy convention, maybe just because I don't want to go total chalk, but I am going to say for the National League representative, I am going to say the Brewers.
Ooh, nice.
I think they got the pitching to get themselves there, and I'm not sure the Dodgers do.
Brewers, Yankees. Okay. I'm going to also out of the box. Braves get back.
I was close on that. I almost said that.
And then my White Sox turn it around, and we get a White Sox Braves World Series.
Editors note, as we record this currently, 2:47 p.m., 7/26/2022, the Orioles and the White Sox have the same record.
And the Orioles are in a way better division.
Yeah. All right, let history chisel that into marble.
Yes. There you have it. Be sure and like, follow, subscribe. If you have any questions for us, hit us up on Twitter or anything like that, and we will catch you guys on the next one.